Hello there. If this is the first video of mine you have stumbled upon, then I would like to inform you that this is not my normal content. And if you don't know anything about me, you probably won't care for this. However, if you are a fan of mine, or someone who's really into deep drama rabbit holes, then I would recommend that you stick around. For those of you who have seen my 2 videos about my past, along with my videos on the names Junkie, then you should have a vague idea of what's going on. But for those who are out of the loop, or need a quick refresher, I will do a short little recap for you. This video will contain conversations about doxing, as well as allegations against myself of grooming minors, with some of the most cartoonishly fake screenshots I have ever seen in my life. So a Google Doc was made of me, where it appears that I'm messaging a minor in pretty explicit ways, where I confirm her age is 13, asked for pictures from her, sent her a picture of my joystick, and threatened her and her family if she came forward and told anyone about this. Well, this is pretty hard evidence, everyone. I guess I should delete my YouTube channel and turn myself into the police. But there's a few problems with this. The text isn't the same size for a lot of them, the spacing between the Discord messages is pretty inconsistent, and anyone could easily fake to be me on Discord. Just because they put up my Discord name with my tag doesn't mean they didn't Photoshop that in. That could have been easily inspect elemented. By the way, I want to thank everybody who knows me who thought this was something I would actually do. But who would do such a thing to the greatest robot? Well, I think I might know who. So allow me to give you a little backstory. All my life I was homeschooled in an extremely Christian, conservative, out-of-date household. On top of that, I have both dyslexia and autism, and the person who taught me, my mother, first language wasn't even English. Needless to say, this made me an easy target. It also gave me a naive and trusting nature. In my video about how I almost committed self-deletion, I went over the reasons why I wanted to off myself. The reason for that was, well, I felt like no one liked me, that I didn't belong anywhere, and that the world would have been a better place without me in it. In the long-awaited video about my past, I go into further detail about the group who were nearly the final straw breaking the camel's back, pushing me into unaliving myself. A few people commented on that video, saying things like, "These are just DeviantArt weebs, who cares?" And I understand where those people are coming from. Ever since I started my Just a Robot account, I went up against many big YouTubers tons of times. So why didn't those people ever make me feel like I wanted to unalive myself? That's because these people are absolutely crazy. They will do anything in their power to slander someone, or make those who are close to their target turn against them, and completely destroy their social standing. I can handle people calling me a fucking idiot, or telling me to KYS. I can handle people calling me a super notorious racist Saiyan god. What I can't handle all too well is people making false screenshots of me for months, attempting to groom a minor, and then tagging a bunch of my YouTuber friends, causing them grief. In the video about my past, I went over a group of people who slandered me, doxed me, and falsely accused me of murder. Twice. After I went through everything in my video, basically everyone who wronged me apologized. Heather, the main person who hurt me, didn't apologize, but the most important person for this video who didn't apologize to me was Chaos55T. Actually, no, that's a lie. She did apologize, but she only apologized for not helping me out when I was dealing with everything in my past. She didn't apologize for the thing that I was really upset with her for, which was the claim she made about me, saying that I was pushing one of her friends into committing self-deletion. A friend who goes by the name Miles White. Chaos would go on to say that I really did push this person into committing self-deletion, even though there's no evidence for it. I even checked 2 obituaries. So she started claiming that Miles White wasn't their real name, but their DeviantArt name. Who the fuck names their DeviantArt account Miles White? Should I name myself Black Lantern Joker Walker 420, or should I name myself Bill Jefferson? Miles White sounds like a real name to me, and White is an extremely common last name. They also had months, over half a year, to come forward with the actual name of this person who offed themselves. Supposedly because of me. Keep in mind, my first video about my past came out in November 2021. I don't know about you, but if I had an IRL friend who offed themselves, I think I would remember their name. But maybe Chaos just really has a bad memory. I myself am really terrible with remembering names. But I'll say this much, if someone I knew in real life offed themselves because another person online pushed them into doing it, I wouldn't go and apologize to that person for not helping them out with a drama 6 years ago. Chaos tried to ignore my first video about my past, uploading normally as if nothing happened. Not only that, but I received messages leaked from their Discord. They lied about their age at the time, saying they were 13 to 14, when they were actually 17 to 18. Chaos also said that Lily was grooming them. Imagine someone in the commentary community lying about their age to make someone look like a pedo.
Why, I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, this really felt to me like it was just another Stories and Pentagon drama. For those of you who don't know about that, Stories lied about their age, saying they were 8 years old, when in fact they were much older than that. And they did this to make a 16-year-old look like a pedo. Of course, there's more to the story than that, but that's really all you need to know for this video. It was very ironic to me because Chaos was comparing me to Stories and Pentagon after I did my first video on the names Junkie. I asked Lily about the whole grooming claims. She said that Chaos was the one who was actually trying to groom her. Considering that I almost committed self-deletion, then Chaos made up a person to say that I was the one who pushed someone into committing self-deletion, so I thought maybe Chaos had romantic interest in Lily, but then later tried to accuse Lily of child grooming, to get out of facing the responsibilities for lying about me pushing someone into committing self-deletion. I unfortunately had a lapse in judgment over the definition of grooming. I made it clear in my video that Lily was the older party and not below the age of 18. I did say after Lily's section jokingly, well, it looks like you were the one who was trying to groom her, which a lot of people did point to. However, afterwards, I did say, Chaos, I'm willing to hear your side of the story on this. Only a few hours after my video dropped, Millie Malware contacted me, asking me to edit out the parts with the grooming claims. I heard her out, and I did agree. To be perfectly honest, I almost took them out myself, but with my poor understanding of what the definition of grooming was at the time, I left the grooming claims in. I heard her out and agreed to edit out those sections with YouTube Editor. Unfortunately, for some reason, YouTube Editor was taking several days to remove these parts. I swear, usually it only takes a few hours. A few days later, LioConvoy and a lot of his friends were hounding me on Twitter to delete or unlist the video. I want to make it clear to anyone who was comparing me to Stories and Pentagon, I was never calling Chaos a child groomer, a child predator, a pedo, or anything of the sort. I am not tolerating that lie any further. I was afraid that Chaos would use this little bit of evidence to get out of the situation that she got herself into. If she just had apologized for falsely accusing me of murder, and also didn't lie about Lily grooming her, which put the word grooming in our minds in the first place. Yes, I should have double-checked the definition of grooming. Yes, I should have had more people check over the video before I publicized it. I will take responsibility for what I did, but not an inch further. I re-uploaded the video with the changes, and a disclaimer about the grooming claims at the beginning of the video. I put the video on my channel as the channel trailer for returning and new viewers. I even pinned the video to my Twitter. On top of all of that, I didn't even put an ad at the start of the video to make sure that people actually watched the disclaimer. I went above and beyond what 99% of YouTubers would do if they made a mistake like this. And in response, people spread rumors about me, that I'm the next Stories and Pentagon or Prison Mate Luke, the latter of which slandered me. So what did Chaos do after all of this went down? Did she try to defend herself? Did she apologize? Nope, she just took a break from YouTube for a few months. Eventually, for the most part, people lost interest, And then she came back as if nothing ever happened. To be perfectly honest, at the start of all of this, I really wasn't that angry with Chaos. I was only a little bit upset with the comment she made about me pushing someone into committing self-deletion. She wasn't even a priority to me. I just came across her comment as I was doing research into what happened to me years ago. I really don't appreciate people saying I just randomly decided to accuse her of grooming just because of a comment they made about me years ago. What I'm really upset about is that they are still lying about me. But very suspiciously, about the same time Chaos returned to YouTube, I started having issues. New Twitter accounts were being made to harass me, including one using my real face and identity, saying that I had unconsensual coitus with my underage niece.
Like this whole, I raped my 9-year-old niece, which is kind of hard since I don't even have a niece.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know about my family life. I told you about it. I don't want to go public with you privately, Leo.
Yeah, I know. You were raised in a circus. I get it.
Which is pretty hard for me to do considering I don't have a niece. Chaos's roommate somehow immediately knew about these going on, even though I had them blocked on Twitter. As for the reason why I blocked them, I received this comment underneath my video about my past that was spreading slanderous lies about me. And it looked like it was from one of Chaos's fans, or possibly one of her alternative Discord accounts, so I decided to delete it. And then I got this tweet from Chaos's roommate, who somehow took a screenshot of the deleted comment only 1 second after the comment was made. Yeah, I knew the comment was left by them and they were tweeting at me to annoy me. It's pretty fucking obvious. No, I clicked on your video as soon as this comment was 1 second old. This did stress me out, and it was one of the reasons as to why my uploading schedule slowed down by quite a bit. But things did seem to get better until the Fire Nation attacked. I joke, but things are going to get very serious from here on out. Someone made a doc full of fake screenshots, which were easily disproven. Some of them appeared to be photoshopped, and by appeared, I mean they were definitely photoshopped. In a recorded call I had with LioConvoy and Pondersprocket, I showed that I never even had a message history with the quote-unquote minor.
Now that you're doing that, go over on VC Context and click on Diggy Diggs' screen name. Now go to
and message.
Message, yes.
Beautiful.
Wowie zowie.
Oh, surprise. It's
Oh, wow.
In the fake screenshots, I also had much better grammar and punctuation than I normally do. And I'm also using emojis, which is something I almost never do. But there was also something I noticed that seemingly no one else picked up on. Most of these messages came out shortly after I uploaded my first video about my past. Seems very strange for me to finally get closure on a situation, then immediately try to groom a 13-year-old. I'm not one to win the lottery, then immediately go to get a cupcake. Now, there is one message that does date before the video about my past came out, but it does date just 3 days after my video about the names Junkie dropped. And it appears to be the least damaging out of all of the screenshots. This timing is just far too convenient. What I'm guessing is that after my video dropped on the names Junkie, who is a friend of Chaos55T, Chaos started faking screenshots involving me. She could have also been possibly warned ahead of time about the video regarding my past by the names Junkie or one of his friends. But after the video about my past dropped, she sped up the process of generating fake screenshots about me. After that, she waited a few months so more people would be likely to fall for it. Then put the screenshots in a doc and tagged several YouTubers I know, such as LioConvoy, Hopeless Peaches, Manga Common, and tons of others. I think my favorite part was that they tried to tag Box of Fox, but they tagged the wrong Box of Fox. Through further investigations with LioConvoy, I got even more proof about this. Chaos's roommate claimed that the person who was pretending to be me on an alternative Twitter account was one of Chaos's high school friends that they recently got back into contact with, and they gave him my private info that Laka supposedly by accident gave Chaos's roommate. By the way, Laka is the one I gave the alias Seahorse to in the video I did on the Names Junkie. I don't know about you, but if one of my high school friends turned out to be a big YouTuber, and they gave me the private information of another big YouTuber, I wouldn't go onto Twitter impersonating them. Chaos's roommate was also not able to provide a real name to LioConvoy, who is very skilled at tracking people down.
The other guy is Raito Komori. He's actually a police officer in Idaho.
They only gave names to LioConvoy that he couldn't find any information on. I have given Chaos plenty of opportunities to provide evidence or defend herself, but that still hasn't happened. I'm a pretty forgiving person. If she just said, "Sorry for lying about you," it was only one comment, but what I did was wrong, and I was a stupid 17-year-old. Or at least something along those lines. I would totally forgive them. But the fact that this has continued with a web of lies, and then me being slandered with an even worse type of slander than being falsely accused of murder, I really just wanted to wait to talk about some of this stuff in the final video about my past. But the slanderous Google Doc on me was the final straw. I would now like to turn the mic over to LioConvoy so he can give his own thoughts on this situation.
Hi, I'm LioConvoy, and I'm here to tell you where I came in all of this literal nonsense. After Jar's second video about his past, where he goes into detail about his experiences with the group Chaos was in, I got into a spat with Jar about some of the contents of that video. Jar wound up taking it down and re-uploading it with the contentious part taken out. That part being where someone accused Chaos of being a groomer with no real evidence to speak of. This is when I was contacted by this Twitter user. This user revealed themselves to be Fluffy Turbo, Chaos's roommate. Despite lying about it publicly for some reason, I don't know. Anyways, we had a call about the accusations Lily made towards Chaos, and it seems Chaos wanted to try and push the accusations the other way, that Lily was a groomer. Suffice it to say, there was no real evidence in that direction either. It was some really goofy, stupid roleplay that both sides took as serious in a way I could only define as completely delusional, and they should all be embarrassed by it. Childish stupidity aside, that all happened 7 years ago, and it's high time they stop holding on to something so stupid. And I say that due to there being no evidence of grooming. If there was evidence, I wouldn't be telling them that. After that, we talked about Jar, with Fluffy telling me it wasn't Jar himself that allegedly led to someone removing themselves from the census, but Jar's fan base at the time. In this conversation, I made it very clear that someone isn't responsible for the actions of their fan base. Jar can put as many qualifiers as he wants and request for people not to be dumb, but the terminally online will do so regardless, hence people like doodle clones. This is when Chaos joined in on the call. Chaos claimed the person that no longer lives was a schoolmate of hers, and Fluffy showed the image. The reason I'm not showing this image specifically is because, frankly, I just don't even believe it at this point, and whoever's in this image, I don't want them getting harassed, so no. I asked her if she could confirm his death. She said she's been trying to, but couldn't find anything. She claimed a note was left on her old phone, a phone she no longer has, with a note she didn't care enough to save. I asked for the name of the school and if it could be called for their records, but Chaos claimed the school no longer exists in its previous form. Fascinating. This on top of Chaos not remembering this supposed former schoolmate's full name, nor the name of any of the schoolmates that would know, is very troubling. Either way, I told Chaos that her claims against Jar were baseless, and that she owes him an actual apology for accusing him of pushing someone to that act. I offered to mediate a call between her, Jar, and myself, and I relayed all of that to Jar, and he was ready to go, put all of this nonsense behind him and move on. Chaos, on the other hand, wasn't, choosing to have Fluffy pass me an apology for Jar, saying she won't have a call with Jar because her daddy said Jar may use it against her. Alright, so apparently you and Chaos are scared to talk to Jar, right?
No, what Chaos basically, because she talked with her family, and long story short, she's worried that whatever she says to Jar is going to be twisted and used against her.
This is where I note that Chaos is a full-grown woman who should be making her own decisions at this point. I also recommended a public apology as well, but this was never followed through on. I figured after that, Fluffy would be in touch and let me know what info they got on this schoolmate. But instead, I didn't hear from Fluffy for 8 months. This is when I got tagged in a Twitter thread from this user, dropping a Google Doc and making claims about Jar. Of note is that I knew about this previous account and that they followed me on Twitter. Based on the nonsense the account previously posted, I figured they'd contact me sooner than later, so here was the moment. I looked at it and noticed some issues. An understatement, as we'll see later. But I hit them back and told them to DM me. No, I didn't believe the accusations, but I wanted to know who was trying to pull this stunt, so I figured probing the account for info would be the best way to do it. So DMs were opened and a discussion was had. The person operating this account informed me that a colleague of theirs had my Discord and would be contacting me. This turned out to be Fluffy. Shortly after this, Fluffy got in contact with me, and we got into call to go over the Google Doc. Now, this call was supposed to also include the alleged victim and some mysterious police officer named REUPLOAD. But surprise, surprise, when Raito tried to contact the victim on Twitter, suddenly, the victim's mother came on and shut down communication. Convenient. So it was just Fluffy, my crew, and I in this call. I wanted to see what I could get out of Fluffy concerning this. I gave her all the possible rope I could. Needless to say, by the end of the call, she had enough to scale the Chrysler building. For those of you who want a quick rundown of why these accusations are asinine at this point, the JAR text has too many proper capitalizations and emoticons compared to how JAR types. If you don't talk to JAR often, you probably don't know this, but JAR types like a 5th grader with broken fingers. Here's the accusatory text. And here's an example of how JAR actually types. There's also the noise around JAR's name on the dock. Probably hard to see on screen, but if you have the original screenshots and zoom in, you'll see it. On top of that, there's the incongruity in the text formatting. Shout out for this image demonstrating that. After the call with Fluffy on this matter, I saw that Ponder Sprocket was streaming about all of this, and I sent her the call I just had with Fluffy. Apparently, Fluffy came to Ponder about this months ago, and Ponder told her then it was garbage. This culminated in another call in Senate with Fluffy, Ponder, Senate members, JAR, and I, where Fluffy puts all the blame for all of this on this mysterious Raito person, which would mean she didn't read any of the links he gave her, and that she just put out accusations with no real research. This is when the mysterious victim finally came online and got in call with us. Of course, they refused to screen share and demonstrate where the text convos with JAR were, claiming some really stupid reasons. So instead, I asked JAR to hop back on and screen share. He clicked on this person's account, got into the messages, and go
Yep,
to...
and message.
Message, yes.
Amazing.
Well, ain't that fascinating? Nothing. Of course. Of note, the accused victim is still in Senate, stuck in the Rancor pit. Fantastic. Fluffy got berated, and most of us went to bed. The next day, Fluffy was back in call and ready to throw Raito under the bus, revealing that he was operating an account using JAR's real name in a move to try and intimidate him, as well as messaging Peaches on that account, though the account he messaged wasn't Peaches. Brilliant. I asked Fluffy if Chaos knew Raito. Fluffy informed me that they went to high school together, and this is where I remind you that Fluffy claimed this guy was a cop, a claim she backs up via his own statement. So, Chaos knows this guy, and he claims to be a cop? Unless it's for entertainment or parody, posing against a police officer is against the law. Since Chaos knows this guy, I asked for his name. I was given one, and when I looked for this person, surprise, surprise, no one listed, even close to that age range, even after checking multiple different spellings of the name. I asked Chaos if she had her high school yearbook. She said yes, but moments later said no, saying she was moving and someone else had it. I asked her to call the person that had it, but of course that didn't happen either. Is anyone else picking up on the pattern here? At that point, I made it clear that if this was yet another stupid LARP, then they need to come clean about it right now, because I'm going to have to file a police report here, and either Raito's name is going on it, or Chaos's is. After Chaos refused to cooperate, I finally had enough, and Fluffy bounced from the call and the server as a whole. This, again, seems like a bunch of LARP garbage. The fantasy's gone. It's up. There are no dragons. There's no JAR dragon to slay. Only you.
Well, there was Chunky. He was the dragon, but I slayed
If you
him.
want me dead so bad, then kill me.
What?
What?
I'm using a metaphor.
How? In what
Fluffy left the
realm
call.
is this?
But here's the funny thing. Remember the account that posted the doc? During my call with Fluffy after the account messaged me, I told them I found something disturbing about JAR and sent them a link. This link was an IP tracker. The location this account was in was Portland, Oregon, which is where Chaos and Fluffy live. So I started digging through these accounts. Fluffy has apparently had it out for JAR for a while, even making twitlongers about it. There's also stuff I found on Raito's account, which lists not only Jar, but Lily as well. This Raito has ties to both Chaos and Junkie if you look at their older tweets. There's also just plain funny statements like this, as well as this one which just aged like the finest of wines. I'm just gonna tell you what I think. I don't think Raito exists. Straight up, this entire account just smells like another LARP gone wrong, and I find it very interesting that Fluffy still follows an account she claims fed her bad info. I think Raito was a shell account, a sock puppet meant to take the blame if this all falls apart. And while I'd like to think that Chaos is just a witless pawn in all of this, it's been almost 2 weeks and I haven't been given Raito's name. Fluffy and or Chaos live in Portland and have the motivation to falsify accusations like this to try to get rid of Jar. I'm sorry, I just need to take a minute here and lay all this out. This all started almost a decade ago with dumb kids being dumb kids on DeviantArt. And instead of swallowing pride and admitting to childish stupidity, this has all spiraled into false accusations and literal conspiracies. All from adults. We all do cringe things as teenagers, but most of us grow up at some point. Chaos is a skilled artist with genuine talent, and if all of this is lining up the way it looks, then that's all being thrown away over some literally made-up drama on DeviantArt. Chaos, I know you're going to watch this. If this is all real, then you need to come forward with actual names. The name of your classmate that's gone, the name of Raito, all of that. It's been 8 months since I asked you for your classmate's name, who you said is no longer with us. Months. And here's the kicker. I lost someone that way years ago too. And by years, I mean almost as long as you've been alive. I still remember their name. So if this is so major and traumatic, why can't you give us something of substance? I recommend both you and Fluffy come completely clean about this, because let's be honest, you haven't yet. This is out of control, and I told you that this isn't what anyone wanted back in December. This is asinine. A link to the calls will be somewhere in the description. The only things removed will be specific personal information that isn't anyone's business. While I know when the call Fluffy says she doesn't give her consent for it to be uploaded anywhere, at this point I do not care. I live in a single-party consent state, and Fluffy, you have caused so much chaos, no pun intended, that I just don't care to give you any benefit of the doubt at this point. And for the rest of you listening, don't get involved. We don't want a witch hunt. We don't want randos on the internet out to get justice for Jar. Don't harass Fluffy or Chaos. Don't be stupid. Just show Jar support in the comment section like a normal, functional adult and leave it be. I'm genuinely too old for this level of nonsense. I'm going to go take an old man nap.
Thanks for helping me out with this situation, Leo. Now, I don't want any of you to be witch hunting Chaos, because to be perfectly honest, I don't know if her or her roommate are 100% behind this. It could be Geeky Girl Heather, or Laka, or the name's Junkie for all I know. Hell, it could even be a third party that's just taking trolling way too far. But a lot of the evidence does point to it either being Chaos or her roommate. One, she has a motive. Now, granted, a lot of people do. The
with this individual, they could be younger.
Chaos has slandered me before, saying I quote-unquote pushed someone into committing self-deletion, and they still haven't produced a real name for that person, along with the real name of the person they gave my private info to, who I'm also sure is totally a real person. And the way they have both acted throughout this entire thing has almost confirmed it to be them. But then again, I'm still not 100% sure that it's Chaos or her roommate that are behind this. So please don't go after Chaos. That being said, Chaos, it's really time that you make a video like this has been going on for years at this point. I just wanted to get closure. I never thought in a million years things would get this complicated. I am so thankful basically no one fell for this bullshit and it hasn't spread too far. This all started because I called a woman who was over 30 dollface one time, who got pissed off at me just because I told a community to stop bullying a 14-year-old autistic girl. The whole Toby, Hopeless Peaches, Creep Shawart, Prismate Luke drama happening, the name's Junkie backstabbing me, and just a whole bunch of other shit. I am so done with all of this. I just want to know what I did to deserve any of this. What happened to me wasn't a mistake. It was calculated and malicious, and it was designed to get me permanently canceled on YouTube. Thank God it was so horribly done, and it absolutely failed.